Hello and welcome back to yet another week where I tell you something that is so irrelevant to you that you have no idea why I'm even telling you. And this week we're going to talk about my biggest mistake in World of Warcraft. And no, it's not the fact that I bothered installing World of Warcraft, because we all know nothing beats that. Also, as a minor disclaimer, I don't really regret any of my mistakes on that kind of level where I'd be like, oh, I wish that wouldn't have happened. I see every mistake as a way to learn, and I hope that others do the same, but of course a lot of things could have and should have been handled very differently. But more onto that in the last episode, yay! So what is the biggest mistake I have done? I could be saying that getting involved with someone over the internet on a higher level than friendship was the biggest mistake, or something like that. I wiped the raid over and over again. Which of course never happens, because I am the definition of professionalism when it comes to raiding. But one thing that was significant for me was when I truly enjoyed World of Warcraft versus when I just took it to the next level, so to speak. And no, don't worry, this is not about how things were better pre-LFR. So back on True WoW. Well, actually this goes even before that, back on a server called Spermic. Yes, that name was actually a thing. And yes, that was the time that this happened to me for the first time. Because I didn't know that the domain was .eu and not .com, So I was a noob. I was a total noob. I didn't have any knowledge of what an MMO should be like. I had been playing RuneScape for a bit, but still not enough to understand anything of what raiding was or elitism. Basically, this was when I created what would become my main character for the next 7 years, Palmaster. I came home from school just to play the game as a noob, and do you know what? I actually enjoyed the game much more than I do today. And it's not because Blizzard changed anything, it's because I didn't know any better. I simply didn't have the knowledge of what was happening around me. I didn't know what the dungeon was, I barely knew that I had the Hearthstone in my bags. But I had so much fun because, again, I didn't know any better. Heck, I even remember being so bad that I got banned for using a bugged spell on another player in open PvP. Because I wasn't reading information on the private server's website or any announcement. I simply couldn't give any crap about other than enjoying the game. So with that in mind, and with my English slowly improving year by year, I was earning knowledge of how the game works, and trust me, it legit took me years to figure out the most basic things in World of Warcraft. And still, this is outside of raiding, so I still hadn't encountered don't stand in fire concept. A few years later, I started my first own guild called My Guild is Touch Me. Yes, very lovely name, I know. And it was actually a bit successful, when it comes to having fun, at least. We even had social events weekly where we would just play hide and seek in Stormwind, and geez, that was so fun. I used to hide under the bridge, and because we all were noobs, we didn't have any special add-ons or even knew that we could just type /targets and then our names to find the one who was hiding. So one day Rohan, you remember the guy that I've been slowly building up the story to all these weeks hopefully, came to me and asked for a merge. His guild, also known as Divinity, wanted my guild members. Now, if you don't know this yet, Rohan was leading one of the most successful raiding guilds back then, and I think you can do the math that a social fun guild merging into a raiding guild would not really work. But he offered to have me invited to one of his IC10 heroics, and we were at Sindragosa. It was only Sindragosa. And again, I didn't really know any clue of raiding back then, yet alone how to fight a dragon. For noobs that watch this, you basically just never stand in front or behind the dragon, always on the side of it. So, what do you think that happened? You killed Sindragosa and they carried you and gave you free loot. Well, not really. They couldn't even carry me, but instead I was just dying every time a big AoE spell was casted by Sindragosa. Even with my failures then, Rohan was determined that he could turn my guild members into raiders, which I myself just didn't see happen. And obviously I'm cutting the story a bit here. We did have officer meetings in our own little guild about this, so this wasn't entirely my decision alone, but we all voted a big fat no. Rohan got mad, and this is important for future episodes. I think that he never really was happy with me after me turning him down that day, because I mean, I knew that the guy didn't ever like me. That was obvious. But he used to remind me about this specific event multiple times when we were speaking alone.
Oh my god, Hans, you're dragging the story out too much.
Yeah, I know, watch time. So anyways, this was the first time I experienced raiding, and I could simply just blame Rohan for ruining the gameplay for me. But this is what really got me into raiding in the first place. The taste of something challenging and learning that it gave pixel rewards. Jeez, I was all in for it. The day I learned about proper raiding, or well, the day I was introduced to it briefly, that was the day I started shifting my attitude and mindset to how it is today. After that, I tried to always do a better job, and I learned that it's all about the endgame loot, more or less, and I consider that being my biggest mistake in World of Warcraft. To learn how to raid, it's really destroyed the feeling towards the game. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy World of Warcraft after this, but I can't say that I enjoyed it in the same way. And yes, to give in a bit commercial to Legion in this video, because that ended for me in Legion. Don't worry, I'm still very much interested into endgame mythic raiding, but Legion was the first expansion that told me, hey, there's another fun side of the game, the side that you used to enjoy, and that was leveling. This is coming from a person who in general hates leveling, by the way. Blizzard made me want to play for the fun again, instead of for endgame pixels. But hey, I'm sure I'm going to destroy that as soon as I start entering heroic and mythic raiding. But like I told my current retail guild officers, I'm putting my trial on hold for as long as I can, until I feel that I'm ready to actually destroy the feeling again. But I also recommend others doing this. Just enjoy the game for what it is. Don't rush anything. Just take your time and enjoy it. Until next time, cheers and have a wonderful weekend.